Hi, my name is Kelsey Dams. I am a library associate at the Fant Memorial Library at MUW. And here I have Dr. Davita Crossley. If you would like to introduce yourself with what department you're in.
I am from the Department of Science and um, Mathematics. And
Mathematics.
yes, and I'm also Assistant Professor of Microbiology.
Okay. Well, it's very nice to meet you today. Thank you for joining me.
Thank
So,
you.
first off, why is undergraduate research so important?
Oh, wow. It is extremely important because it gives you that hands-on experience. And it's like you always see or you hear about this stuff in class. And me personally, I am more of a visual learner. So when I got to play around in the lab, it's like, oh snap, like this is what we were actually talking about. And it makes so much sense then. And it also allows for that information that you learned in class to stick further because you've actually done it, you've actually seen it. So I think there's a lot of ups about it. And for some reason, it just gets you super excited. Yeah, I even get excited just talking about it.
Right. I definitely relate to that. I'm more of a hands-on, like kinesthetic learner. So did you participate in undergraduate research as a student?
That's the funny part. I did not. I did not.
Hmm.
And that's because I really didn't know about it until it was like my last semester as a senior. I kept wondering why. Like there were other students in the courses and the students they would always already know stuff, like especially when it came to lab stuff. And I'm thinking like, how do they know this? Like we've gone through the same classes. And I'm like, how did they know about these techniques and stuff already? And what I didn't know until then, until I asked them, like, how do y'all actually know this stuff? It's because they were working in labs. So just by them working in labs, they actually got ahead and they explained stuff. And yeah, and I was like, wow. So I do wish that I had learned that there were opportunities like that. But I did notice that the students that did that, those sections were a lot easier for them in lecture, whereas myself was sitting there trying to imagine. And back then, there wasn't anything like Google and YouTube.
YouTube, yeah.
It's more like go to the library, look at a book type of thing.
Mhm.
But with this, it helps you a lot in a lot of your courses, a lot, because again, you're getting that one-on-one, you're actually doing it, and then you're reading about it. And it can make something that seems so hard just by reading about it so simple once you actually do it. It's like, oh, this is what they were talking about. If only I knew, but I know now. So I
Mhm.
say if you have the opportunity, do it. Do the undergraduate research. I wish I had.
Mhm. That's the response I'm hearing from a lot of people is that they just didn't know that the opportunity was out there. So hopefully students will know. Um,
Absolutely.
so are you currently working on any research?
I am. I work with the dimorphic fungus, histoplasma. Um, and right now I have 5 students.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So what kind of things do you have your students working on for that
Um,
project?
what type of things do I actually have them working on? Well, we're working on, this is a dimorphic fungus that causes the infection histoplasmosis. So we're trying to see if there is a certain gene, which is called YAP1, if this gene that is a part of this fungus helps it to survive. Because if we find out that it helps it to survive, then this could be used as a target to fight infection. So they are working on like trying to stress out the cells and see if the cells are actually surviving, if that gene is present or not. And we are going about it in like 5 different ways, and each student has a separate way of looking at it.
Okay. So are these undergraduate students, graduate students, all undergrad?
Undergrads, most of them are either sophomores or juniors. And I think I have one, no, I actually have 2 seniors.
Oh, okay. So will you continue like having students working on this, or is it just for these 5 students for this project?
So this continues forever. So research is once you find the actual results, that kind of open the doors for more questions and answers. Because once we say, for example, yes, this gene is involved in surviving these stressful situations, then the next question is why, and the next question is how. And that could lead to 5 more projects for years to come. So it keeps building and building. It's a
Right.
never ending story, but at the same time, it's fun because it's science, and this is something that could be extremely important in fighting infections.
Mhm. So how would you describe your mentor style with your students?
Um, well, my mentor style is a lot of this is, like I said, I've learned things the hard way. So everything I've learned was the hard way. So I always teach them even the hard stuff that I've learned. I tell them up front so that they won't have to deal with that. And for them to know that whenever things seems to be like so hard, that there's always an easier way. And it is okay to ask questions. That's part of the learning process. And as a mentor, it is my job to actually guide them. So I am there to guide them. I won't tell them the answers all the time, but I will direct them towards that spot.
Is there anything that a student might want to know about you if they're uh, looking for like a potential mentor?
Um, about me, if they're looking for, well, first of all, there are several mentors. The first question I would always ask is like, what exactly are they studying? Mine is more on the medical side. There are some others here. Some are also medical, and some of them are not. So it just, there are different branches. So the first thing, if you are interested, see what all that we actually have, and see which branch that you are mostly interested in. So just because a person does research, that should not be your first stop. Ask them exactly what branch of science are they, because that may not be the one that you're looking for, and be like, ugh, no, no, I like that one. Or yes, I love that one. So find the one that is mostly interesting to you, and that should be the first thing.
So, what would you say are some good characteristics of a student researcher?
Oh, like some things that I look for?
Mm-hmm.
I look for students that ask a lot of questions. If they ask a lot of questions, I gotta have you. Because that means I know that you're excited. I know that you're curious about it. And that means that I need to challenge you. So I think that is important for a student to make sure that they, okay, to be honest, I kind of forgot your question. So because I kind of forgot.
Characteristics of a student researcher. What do you look for?
Okay, got you. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Because I took too much of my time. I forgot. Are you editing this for real? I would be like, wait a minute. Okay, I'm crazy. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, I think my students are coming back now. So, um, what are some things that I look for? Like, actually, when I'm searching for students, I'm usually looking for the ones that are in the classes that are asking a lot of questions. Um, and I think it's important for, like, of course, you want to make sure that you're on time for everything. That's another thing, because if you're one that's always late with research, you can't have that. The things that we work with are so time sensitive, that, yeah. Up now, there are some sort of branches that are kind of laid back, and it doesn't really matter. But our things is all about timing. So I am looking for someone that is on time with things, um, and also as long as they have that drive. Um, so as long as you have that sparkle in the eye, it doesn't have to be the same match as my sparkle, because I get too overly excited, but just a little bit of the curiosity is great. Um, and that's where we can go from there.
Okay, so finally, do you have, or what advice do you have for students interested in starting independent research?
Oh, good. The advice that I would give is to start looking early, because normally when you think about it, it's already too late. So if you are thinking about doing it for the next semester, you need to start asking now, because a lot of the labs are either already full or students are already asking. And
Hmm.
you can only take
So
so
many.
right. So usually you have to either wait till somebody has graduated or they're no longer interested or something like that. So as soon as you think about it, I would say start looking around. And if you're thinking about if you're thinking about it for the spring, I would say to start asking now.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It's been lovely talking to you.
But it's been nice. So thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.